hot outside, and for people who are homeless, the heat and the wind can be unbearable, which is why outreach organizations are providing the essentials to help out.
To say it was a blessing is an understatement.
Jessica Rodriguez is talking about Michael Aplikowski and his organization, Convicted for Christ Ministries.
I also have these rain cops.
He's helping the homeless in places like Oceanside by providing necessary items to help them feel safe. And in today's case, that means feeling safe from the elements.
They really go out of their way, like extremely out of their way, to provide for us and look out for us.
Wednesday, Jessica got food and water from Michael, and those aren't the only essentials he's passing out.
Cops, first of all, are going to protect you from the sun, all right? The sun is really devastating to you, over time, whether you realize it or not.
With San Diego County facing near-record high temperatures and Santa Ana winds, Michael says small items like these tie-downs are important.
Being able to tie the tops down is important, too, because otherwise they just get blown away by the wind and the rain.
Michael knows what it's like to struggle. He was homeless for 12 years and started his organization 9 years ago. He knows what it's like to have nothing and to feel unprotected from the elements. These items aren't just physical. They provide a means of connection between Michael and the unhoused.
They help us to create encounters with people that lead to relationships with them, to where some trust is built, and those relationships could become transformational in their lives because, again, there's that connection.
In Oceanside, Jane Kim, ABC 10 News.
The city of San Diego is facing another big budget deficit. The city is about $17 million in the red. The budget committee met today to discuss ways to get out of that hole, which could include emergency cuts. ABC 10 News reporter Danny Miskell explains where the city is struggling to bring in revenue.
The city of San Diego's budget, it's a lot of money, more than $2 billion. But it turns out they're going to need even more money than that, about $17 million more. I went through the city's 2026 mid-year budget monitoring report, and here's how your taxpayer dollars are being spent. The report says the city's revenue is about $14 million short. At the same time, the report says they're spending about $3 million more than they budgeted for. There's a lot of reasons, but I'm going to highlight 3: economic development, parks and rec, and public safety. So, tourism is down. Not really the city's fault, but it's a reality.
Second, the city of San Diego now expects to come up $7 million short of what they thought they would make off the hotel tax.
And that's a 4% decrease compared to what they've made off that tax in recent years. And a big reason for this? International travel is down. Second, charging for parking. It really isn't bringing in the money that the city was hoping for, and it's all traced back to Balboa Park.
I'm really sorry the city is in this financial situation, but it should not be taken out on the citizens and the guests.
The city believes that Balboa Park parking is going to come up almost $9 million short of what was expected to be made after this policy change. And third,
we're paying for overpay.
Utilizing overtime to supplement, we're paying a premium.
We all know there's a shortage of workers, but it's mostly firefighters and police officers who are working overtime to maintain service levels and emergency responses. So now that we've got an idea of where the city is at money-wise, the city says it's implementing a request to fill action with all its departments. Basically, all the city's departments are going to have to figure out how to cut costs so they can bring these deficit numbers down.
I just want to make sure we're being as thoughtful as possible about what those impacts will be.
Danny Miskell, ABC 10 News.
This budget deficit stems from a vote in November of 2024. San Diegans rejected Measure E, which was a 1-cent sales tax the city projected would raise $400 million a year. When it failed, the city looked elsewhere for money, including cutting library hours, enacting a new monthly trash fee, new special event parking fees downtown, and, of course, paid parking at Balboa Park. The fight for control of the San Diego Padres appears to be over. Sheil Seidler, the wife of late Padres owner Peter Seidler, dropped most of her claims in her lawsuit against Peter's brothers Matthew and Robert Seidler. That's according to court documents made public this week. She filed the lawsuit in Texas in January of last year. She was trying to prevent one of the Seidler brothers from taking control of the team rather than her. Sheil claimed that she The rightful person to control the Padres after Peter's death in 2023. In November, the family announced it was exploring the possibility of selling the franchise. The U.S. Supreme Court is letting California use the new congressional map heavily favoring Democrats. Voters overwhelmingly approved the maps last November as a counter to gerrymandering in Texas that created more Republican districts. The High Court okayed the Texas maps, and today it issued a brief order which allowed California's as well, with no justices dissenting. Coming up at 4:30, I take a deep dive into how California maps are drawn, including the role of the independent commission tasked with making them. Police in Arizona say they have no suspects in the troubling disappearance of the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Authorities believe 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was abducted. No suspects or person of interest has been identified. Several media outlets say they got a ransom note related to the case, including K-Gun, the Scripps station in Tucson. The note makes a specific demand for several $1 million in Bitcoin by Thursday and threatens to kill her if payment isn't received by Monday. It also makes specific reference to 2 pieces of evidence at the crime scene, which we cannot authenticate as legitimate. K-Gun has forwarded the full contents of the note to investigators and authorities.
If your intent is to kidnap somebody for money, which is typically what happens in ransom kidnappings, then why would you send it to them? Is this to throw off investigators? Is it somebody who just wants attention? Well, we'll have to see.
Investigators say they're exploring all leads and don't know if this was a random abduction or targeted. The man convicted of trying to assassinate President Trump at his Florida golf course was sentenced today. Ryan Ruth will spend the rest of his life in prison. Prosecutors had pushed for him to receive a life sentence. Ruth has an attorney now, but represented himself during the trial. Prosecutors say Ruth laid in wait for President Trump at his West Palm Beach golf course in 2024.
Trump border czar Tom Homan says effective immediately, he's withdrawing 700 immigration officers from Minnesota, a mix of both Customs and Border Patrol and members of ICE. Homan saying that is because they have significantly reduced the number of undocumented immigrants in Minneapolis. And they've seen increased cooperation with state and local leaders, particularly sheriff's offices that run the jails. Homan says he has new commitments from the jails to turn over undocumented immigrants who have been arrested for crimes rather than release them back into the streets, but that does not include the main jail in Minneapolis. The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office telling Scripps News there has been no change in a policy prohibiting cooperation with ICE. They do not assist or comply with any civil immigration requests from ICE, only complying with the judicially signed warrant. There will still be 2,000 immigration officers on the ground in Minnesota. That is a lot more than the 150 who typically be there.
This is smarter enforcement, not less enforcement. For those who are not a national security threat or public safety risk, you are not exempt from immigration enforcement actions. If you're in the country illegally, you are not off the table.
Minnesota's Attorney General as well as the mayor of Minneapolis both called this a step in the right direction, but they say it doesn't go far enough. They are demanding an end to the surge of enforcement officers in Minneapolis. Patrick Terpstra, Scripps News Group, Washington.
Still ahead today at 4 o'clock, we're following through on the recent point-in-time count. It's showing fewer unhoused people living along the San Diego Riverbed. What could be a reason for the drop?
I'm Joe St. George on Capitol Hill. With the partial government shutdown now over, now the question is, can Congress pass immigration enforcement reform? If they don't, it could spell big funding trouble for the Department of Homeland Security. We explain next.
You're watching ABC 10 San Diego, part of the Scripps News Group. The Super Bowl, the Winter Olympics, award shows. There are a lot of reasons right now why you might want to upgrade your TV. And the good news is that moving up to a bigger TV this year does not require a Super Bowl-sized budget.
Shopper Tomas Vargas is thinking big for the big game.
Next time, honestly, I'm going over 85 inches.
You're going to get that big, huh?
Yeah, the prices are not that bad now compared to many years ago.
Retailers like Best Buy are advertising steep markdowns, like 85-inch TCLs as low as $679. And up to $2,100 in savings on select LG OLED TVs. At Walmart, game day deals include a Philips 75-inch TV for $378 and a 65-inch TCL for less than $300. CNET's Daisha Milden says you'll find the biggest savings on 2025 models.
I would check multiple retailers. It's a really good time to comparison shop.
CNET. The top reason people upgrade is screen size. Most people now opt for 65 inches or bigger, so measure first.
And then see, when you sit about 9 feet back, does that feel comfortable for you? Are you squinching your eyes? Does it feel too close?
TVs are getting massive.
116 inches this one is.
And more vivid, as seen at the CES Tech event earlier this year.
These TVs will be able to help you see their legs in motion with the sharpness and clarity as though you were sitting on the side of the field.
The newest TVs won't be on sale until the fall. Meantime, save with solid budget options like a 50-inch Hisense for about $300. But if you have the room and the budget, oh my goodness, this is a 100-inch TV. Best Buy has some 100-inch deals down near $1,000, so you don't waste your money. John Mattery, Scripps News Group.
This 10 News Pinpoint Weather Report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Nobody wows clients like we do.
Man, if I had the room, I would love a TV that big. All right, let's take you outside to Coronado. A stunning view this afternoon. A lot of people on the beaches, and I don't blame them. It is gorgeous. It is 85 in Carlsbad right now. That's actually one of the warmer spots in the county. El Cajon at 86 degrees, 83 in Poway, 82 in Fallbrook, and we're really close to some records. The official report will come from the National Weather Service at 4:30, so I'll have that in my next hit with you guys. 50s, 60s, and 70s in the mountains. The coast and the valleys, due to those winds picking up that Santa Ana flow, we are up to 14 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. As far as those winds go, Seal Hill saw a gust over 80 miles per hour today. Right now, gusting up to 47. That is always one of the windier spots. There's nothing there. It just typically is windy when Santa Ana winds come through. Miramar just updated 14 miles per hour. Big Black Mountain gusting up to 33. Pine Valley up to 28. And it is dry. I know I don't even have to tell you that, but look at these numbers. 9% humidity right now in El Cajon, 12 all the way to our coast in Carlsbad, 14 in Imperial Beach, 16 in Escondido and in Chula Vista. It is as dry or even drier in some areas than our deserts currently. All right, let's talk about the wind. Pretty widespread gusts we've been seeing all day today. Those winds will continue as we head into tonight, and they may even pick up again early in the morning, right before sunrise, which is very typical when you have that Santa Ana pattern. So still expecting those widespread gusts, 20 to 35 miles per hour anywhere for the inland and mountain areas, and then isolated gusts over 55 miles per hour. But most of us won't see those winds even reach 40 miles per hour. Alpine could, but a lot of us won't. That wind advisory does include the inland and mountain areas until noon tomorrow. We're going to start to see clouds rolling in tonight, and that's going to keep temperatures really mild. We are going to be in the 60s most of tonight along our coastline. Early tomorrow morning, dipping down to the 50s, but just barely. Inland neighborhoods, look at this. By 7 o'clock, we're still in the 70s. 9 o'clock, still in the mid-60s. And we're also staying mostly in the 50s into the early morning hours tomorrow. Not expecting as many 40s and even 30s that we have been seeing. Now, temperatures do come down by about 10 degrees tomorrow. We are still going to be trending about 5 to 11 degrees above normal. 60s and mid-70s along our coastline. Still in the 80s for some of the warmer inland neighborhoods, including Escondido and in Poway. 60 for Palomar and Julian. Upper 70s to low 80s in the deserts, and cloudy skies. Partly cloudy to mostly cloudy. The wind continues through the morning, tapers off into the afternoon, and there is a very slight chance we could even see a little bit of rain. Now, the atmosphere near the surface is really dry, so a lot of us will mostly just see virga, that rain that evaporates before it reaches the ground. This high pressure system is going to start to weaken as that storm system right there starts to approach, bringing the slightest chance for a little bit of moisture tomorrow into early Friday morning, but a better chance for rain as we head into early next week, more widespread rain. And at this point, it just looks like some scattered showers, so we'll keep our eyes on that. We're back in the 60s with that next chance for rain on Tuesday, but we're mostly in the 70s through the weekend along our coast. Inland neighborhoods in the mid-70s starting Friday, and then dropping back into the 60s starting on Tuesday with that chance for some rain. For the mountains, you have the best chance for rain tomorrow. Little to no accumulation, though. Back in the 50s Friday and Saturday, briefly in the 60s again Sunday and Monday, and much cooler by Wednesday in the 40s. And the deserts staying in the 70s and 80s, but a drop in temperatures by midweek.
A new program is encouraging people to support Hillcrest businesses. We've been covering their struggles to bring in customers amid ongoing construction. Details on the program and how to participate.
Skycam Views, sponsored by Carlsbad Solar.
USS Stockdale, which is home ported in San Diego, has arrived off the coast of Haiti. It comes as tensions continue to rise in the country. Saturday is the deadline for the country's presidential council to step down. Just yesterday, U.S. judge blocked the Trump administration from ending temporary status protections for Haitians. Scripps News Group's Jamie Ostroff explains the latest ruling and talked to a Haitian that's called South Florida home for 2 decades.
A rebuke calling out Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Secretary Noem, the record to date shows, does not have the facts on her side, or at least has ignored them, does not have the law on her side, or at least has ignored it. That's the conclusion of a U.S. District Court judge, in her opinion, blocking the Trump administration's attempt to end temporary protected status for people from Haiti.
My dream is to become the most successful Haitian woman entrepreneur of the world.
People, including Farah Leroux.
I am here now taking the time to fight for my right to exist.
Over the past 20 years in South Florida, she built a marketing company geared toward minority communities, primarily Haitians.
For Americans to see Haitian as valued not only economic contribution, but also a cultural, political contribution.
Farah was granted temporary protected status in 2010.
Yes, we understand.
Following an earthquake that devastated Haiti. She'd already been in the U.S. for 5 years, and getting TPS halted her pending case for permanent residency.
And because of American people, I feel like make me a better person, make me understand how democracy works. It made me understand what it means when fighting for your freedom.
According to DHS, TPS is a designation for foreign countries whose conditions prevent its nationals from returning safely. Those granted TPS can get work authorization and are not removable from the U.S. If a person has been convicted of a felony or at least 2 misdemeanors, they're not eligible for TPS.
Now, that was actually one of the primary reasons behind the judge's decision. She even put this tweet from Secretary Kristi Noem in the document itself. It says, quote, "I am recommending a full travel ban on every damn country that has been flooding our nation with killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies." Noem posted this tweet shortly before announcing she'd be revoking TPS for Haitians. So when the administration says we're rounding up dangerous people,
they are lying. Just lying. This is not about immigration issue. This is about racial issue.
In response to the ruling, Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin tweeted, "Supreme Court, here we come," writing TPS, quote, "was never intended to be a de facto amnesty program, and that the final word will not be from an activist judge legislating from the bench." Jamie Ostroff, Scripps News Group.
Artificial intelligence in the classroom. Coming up, how it's being used to help improve testing scores.
You're watching watching ABC 10 News at 4.
We're getting an early look at some of the data from this year's point-in-time count. The San Diego River Park Foundation stats show the number of unhoused people that it's counted along the San Diego River is down, way down. ABC 10 News reporter Ryan Hill breaks down the numbers with the foundation and follows through on what it thinks is a reason for the drop.
We've been seeing in the last year that it feels like there are fewer people in the riverbed.
Seeing is believing. And it's even better seeing data to back that belief.
It's really great to be able to confirm it. And to be honest, a little surprising even that it was even so low.
That's Sarah Hutmacher with the San Diego River Park Foundation. The organization recently took part in this year's point in time count, an annual snapshot of how things are looking with the homelessness crisis in San Diego County.
We were super excited this year to be able to say that there were under 150 people in the riverbed.
148 people to be specific.
To put things in perspective, the San Diego River Park Foundation counted more than 290 people living along the riverbed with last year's point-in-time count. That's a 50% drop from last year to this year's count.
The point-in-time count is a one-day count in January. However, the foundation does do seasonal census of those staying along the riverbed.
When we counted in the fall, in September just of 2025, we counted 294 people living in the San Diego riverbed, and now we're seeing 148. So that's a huge impact and a huge, break for the river, which is really not a place that's meant for human habitation.
I've covered the efforts to help those who are staying along the riverbed, the clearing of encampments there, and people getting placed into housing as well.
When I first got the numbers, I wanted to do the Irish jig.
Ketra Carter is the program manager with the City of San Diego's Homelessness Strategies and Solutions Department. While she can't speak to the River Park Foundation's numbers, she feels all of the money and efforts put into the riverbed is a reason for the reduction.
Not only were we able to utilize this money to facilitate temporary lodging and temporary stays, supportive services, and connection to other services for self-sufficiency, we were able to get them housed into what is permanent stability.
I think the last 18 months has been a lot of that work of, making contacts and talking to people and finding them alternative places to stay.
While the entire point-in-time count data isn't expected until this spring,
I hope that the San Diego riverbed going down is representative of what's happening in the rest of the county.
Ryan Hill, ABC 10 News.
Earlier in this newscast, we told you about the Supreme Court refusing to block the newly redrawn congressional maps in California. Before the special election last year, I took a deep dive into the state's independent redistricting commission. It's tasked with drawing up those maps. Every 10 years after the census, California has to redraw its political maps. Those lines decide who represents you in Congress and at the state level in Sacramento. In the past, lawmakers drew the maps themselves. But that came with pushback, critics calling it gerrymandering, claiming politicians were picking their voters instead of the other way around. That's why voters approved the Citizens Redistricting Commission back in 2008. 2 years later, its power expanded to cover congressional seats, too. We spoke to political science professor Thad Kauser about what was happening at the time.
We had plans drawn after the 2000 census that essentially advantaged incumbents in both parties. A large coalition of groups came together and said, you know what, rather than having politicians draw these lines, we need to have districts that are more responsive, drawn by an independent commission.
The commission has 14 members, 5 Democrats, 5 Republicans, and 4 who aren't tied to either party. Commissioners aren't politicians, and it's a lengthy process to pick members. They're chosen through an application and lottery system run by the state's auditor's office. From there, the first 8 commissioners pick the final 6. Members have to follow strict rules. Districts must have equal population. They must respect communities of interest, and they can't favor or discriminate against any party or candidate.
Since then, in the 2 censuses in which we've had redistricting efforts led by the commission, they've drawn lines both for the state and for Congress, drawing lines that by most quantitative accounts generally are fairly fair.
And the commission gets input from the public in an effort to keep transparency. They hold dozens of hearings and allow people to submit their comments and even proposed maps. At the time, the independent commission told us they had no official position regarding the redrawn maps and was proud of the work it had done.
The partial government shutdown may be over, but the funding fight is not. That's because funding for the Department of Homeland Security runs out in just 2 weeks, and Democrats are demanding major immigration enforcement reform. The latest shutdown may be over, but a new funding fight has emerged.
Next week and the week after will be intense. The two sides are pretty far apart, as you know.
The Department of Homeland Security, which operates TSA at airports, FEMA, as well as immigration operations, is set to run out of funding in less than 2 weeks. Democrats funded that department for a limited time because of a demand for reform following multiple fatal shootings in Minnesota by immigration officers.
Taxpayer dollars should not be spent to brutalize and kill American citizens.
But there are serious questions about whether a deal can be struck before then, with members of Congress telling the Scripps News Group that any deal in such a short time frame will be difficult.
I'm not optimistic.
Many Democrats are demanding new policies like body camera use, a commitment to follow standard warrant procedures,